The media has extensively covered the ongoing recovery of people from the pandemic years. But a new source of hope has also emerged that we should acknowledge. This hope stems from the desire to create a better life that is not just a return to pre-COVID normalcy. Many ideas have been proposed around this theme. One of the most important is how to cultivate a spiritual relationship in a meaningful, genuine way. In our closest personal relationships, we seek love and acceptance. Although maintaining this has become difficult for many in recent years, everyone has an unloving side and a stubborn way of doing things. We bring mixed emotions into our interactions with others, and this is simply a fact of life. Finding love and acceptance can be a significant challenge. Given this reality, achieving a spiritual relationship may seem even more daunting. Traditionally, the aspects of a spiritual relationship, such as grace, forgiveness, unconditional love, pure joy, redemption, and salvation, were believed to be fulfilled by God alone. Can we really expect these qualities from the person we share our daily life with? Yet today, millions of people are on a spiritual journey and naturally want to share it with someone else, often a spouse, partner, or family member. Let's explore this aspiration and what it entails. We can then make a realistic assessment of how to spiritually connect with someone who has a similar mix of positive and negative traits as we do. In daily life, relationships are driven by the individual ego, the I, with its demands, preferences, memories, and conditioning. The ego is centered on self-interest, seeking more pleasure and less pain, wanting its own way rather than someone else's. It seeks satisfaction through appetite, power, status, and achievement. Recognizing this, we must face the fact that the ego is not suited for a spiritual relationship. It's like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. Fortunately, there is another level of relationship that is free from ego. We typically experience this twice in our lives, first as young children and then when we relate to our young children. In these relationships, we set aside self-interest. We experience things the ego does not know, such as innocent delight, selfless love, trust, intimacy, a desire to cherish the other, and pure joy in someone else's existence. Two beings merge in complete acceptance of each other. Can these qualities emerge in a relationship between two adults? It would require voluntarily setting aside the ego, which is nearly impossible. There are moments in loving relationships where egoless experiences occur. The path to a spiritual relationship hinges on one surprising factor: the other person is irrelevant. Everything depends on you because how you relate to yourself determines how spiritually you relate to others. Consider the pure love and innocent delight we find with children. We expect nothing from them. Their existence is enough. We place no demands on them to fulfill our desires. Hence, there is no ego agenda involved. Now look at yourself. Do you accept and love yourself simply because you exist? I'm not looking for a yes or no answer. Everyone has moments where simply being here is enough. We feel inner peace, contentment, and acceptance without thinking about it. Where does this selfless state arise? Oddly enough, in deep sleep. This is where meditation comes in. Unlike sleep, in meditation we don't lose consciousness. Instead, we engage with ourselves without an agenda. We go within to meet the selfless state, which is not blank or empty. It is the point where mere existence and consciousness are enough. As meditation matures, the ego's agenda becomes increasingly irrelevant. If I am enough in myself, I don't need to make demands on anyone or anything else. Once you relate to yourself without ego, it becomes natural and easy to relate to others in the same way. You invite the other person into your sense of fullness and fulfillment. This is the opposite of needing another person to avoid feelings of loneliness, isolation, weakness, or insecurity. You complete me is a fantasy of the ego personality. In truth, consciousness and existence complete you. This vision sustains us on the spiritual path because after years of conditioning that prioritize I, me, and mine, it takes time to undo all the training. The middle of the journey is filled with a mix of selfish and selfless experiences. This keeps the path dynamic and engaging instead of static and boring. Eventually, however, you will prefer to relate to yourself in a straightforward, uncomplicated way that reflects your state of self-acceptance, opening the door to a true spiritual relationship, first with yourself, and then with anyone who wishes to share in this state of completeness.